Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Dodgeball Podcast. In this episode, we are covering the hypothetical 2020 season featuring the West region. And joining me are Andrew Ketchum, Nick Factoran, and Justin Bosch. Guys, thanks so much for hopping on and being patient while I figure out this whole streaming thing. But let's do a real quick catch up. So, Andrew, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Not a lot of dodgeball, but a lot more gym, which has been kind of nice. Been still lucky enough to be able to work out with my trainer throughout most of this in various different ways and formats. So it's been nice. And without dodgeball, there's a lot less time where I have to recover. So it's been nicer to just kind of be able to like almost just gain strength throughout a year.
Are you doing a lot more like outdoor training?
Yeah, so we were for a bit. Our gym opened back up. But I think most gyms are open in Arizona right now, with a mask. I go at 6 or 7. There's usually it's the same group of people that basically has been the same group of people that have been even around throughout all this. So it's kind of like a good peace of mind with that. But yeah, we're back in a like actual gym now.
Nice. Nick, how you been?
Been all right. I mean, without dodgeball, I've just been, focusing on work and navigating this whole situation, I guess. My wife's been furloughed from Disney twice now, but whenever they come back, she is hopefully on her way back to work. Whenever that is, we'll see.
Well, then Justin, I would catch up with you, but we literally just spoke last night, so imagine not much has changed.
Hey, he's muted.
Oh.
Unmute yourself, Justin.
Did you step out?
Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Test.
Same as yesterday. I'm doing just as well as yesterday.
Yep. Rocking the 3D glasses this time because I believe people should actually hear you now. So,
yeah. We're in the West Coast. It's big time this time.
Big time. Yeah. I
wear 3D glasses.
6 teams, baby.
Yeah, 6 teams. Not gonna lie, a little bit nervous about this one. But I mean, first and foremost, Nick, I know it's probably been a year and a half, some change since we last had you on. You helped us do the UDC recap, so much thanks to that. But the format I kind of wanted to follow was I feel like we had a pretty good stride with the North recap last night, and we basically looked at all the teams that were listed in Rolina's 2019 championship bracket. She tracked everything, so I can kind of try to remember what from the shakeups episode that me and Justin did, and some of the big team announcements. We can probably go maybe line by line and revisit each team and kind of talk about, are they still hypothetically there? What's the likelihood of them coming back? I mean, if we look at Crysis, I mean, Ketchum, would Crysis have returned this year, do you think? And COVID never happened. So if
COVID never happened, then yes, Crysis would have been the same.
Got it. And I think it's safe to assume Heat would be returned as well. It's kind of like I don't say no brainer, but I didn't foresee any changes or hear about anything, especially since they had the tournaments that Tyler Greer hosted for NDI. Obviously, the big change would be Rise and Rainbows. They merged and formed one, so we'll just kind of strike Rainbows and bring them into Rise. Havoc, they were coming back. Alan Stott had moved to that team.
Sort of traded Andy and Alan, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much a trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be that'll be a good thing to talk about as we move on.
And then they also added Gage, right? Wasn't Gage going to play with Havoc this year?
For Rubber or
maybe?
I don't know.
No Sting? I think he played. I think he played with them for that tournament or a tournament. I don't know if he's on the team.
Yeah, I think Havoc was looking at him. He played with LADC for the Tyler's tournament, but I don't know if he would have been on what team he would have been on for 8.5.
Then I know they also picked up a kid from he's from Ohio, but he played in the East Coast last year. CJ. CJ Berger is going to play with Havoc this year, or was going to play with Havoc this year. And then
I think Hooch is going to play on Havoc. I don't know if you heard that at all, Ketchum, or.
Dang, everyone's playing on Havoc.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to that one just because we were trying to get him for Ronin, and so he wanted to play with Alan because Alan wanted him on his right, I guess. So I think for all intents and purposes, we can consider Hooch there.
I love playing a Hooch whenever we're Crysis because Brody, for like whatever reason, like every time Brody throws at him, no matter where it is, he catches it. And it doesn't matter when, where, and he tries every time to like prove it's not like gonna happen again. And I love that.
And then it happens.
And it happens every single time.
So we're definitely have to consider that if there's a hypothetical face-off between.
Yep. You have. Yeah. You absolutely have to because it's like a guaranteed fact. Yep. I love you, Brody, but
the Brody killer. Fortune, and actually speaking of, so it's Lucas, right? That's how it's pronounced.
Yes, Lucas.
So he reached out to me and he had said, Steve, I've been loving the podcast lately. They have been reminders that there's a strong dodgeball community out there and something awaiting all of us when COVID-19 is over. I'm enjoying the mock nationals programming. So tip of the hat to you, Justin. Thank you, Lucas, for, kind of reinforcing what we're trying to do. At the end of the day, we're talking about dodgeball. It's the whole point. And I'm so sorry for butchering your name. I know it's Lucas. I know there's a little bit of a pause. I just, for some reason, just go to, Lucas. So if that happens again, I'm sorry. I will work on being better. But
it is Lucas.
Please don't do that to me, man.
Lucas.
I will.
No, it's Lucas. You guys didn't know?
Oh, geez. Lucas. Anyway, Fortune. You just ruined everything. I'm gonna have to think twice as hard now. Fortune, were they coming back? Do we know?
Yeah, when I talked to Lucas, he said their whole team was coming back and that he was going to be playing this year. So they were excited about playing this year.
Yeah, because he
back with the full team.
Yeah, was previously injured. I remember that now.
I think he ended up playing nationals, but he didn't play. I don't think he played a round last year. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure he played a round. I guess not 2 years ago.
But he would have been back with them in full stride entire season.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anarchy, obviously, that was probably doesn't really count. So strike them. Downpour. Do we know if they would have returned?
Talked to the Rise guys the other day. They said Downpour was still going to be a team made up of all Portland guys, so they were planning on being back.
That's weird. That's weird to hear you say. Now I was like Rise guys, and then I was like, wait, support. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yep.
The Rise Bros guys.
The Rise Bros guys.
Sergey Leon says, "Oh snap, video is working." Okay, good. Because I don't know what I was doing earlier, but thanks for the reassurance there, buddy. Headhunters. So no, but we also would have come back as Ronin, but we'll just leave it at that. So
who is on that team?
It doesn't matter.
Hold up. Let's talk about it for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Headhunters for a second.
Yes. Unlike what's his name? Oh man, unlike Miles, I don't want to talk about my team, but no, it is we're talking about your team. So Headhunters basically was a one and done thing. We formed that team for Brian Armand to play with him. He played one round and dropped. So I talked to Nate Evans about this. I was like, I kind of want to form a team now where it's like at best, maybe score for middle of the pack, but give up and coming new players a chance to play, get some visibility, work on team building, work on practicing locally, because I know there's a lot of strength in not only just unity, but also consistency. So that was kind of like my goal was to have like a building team. And so Ronin was the idea because it's just a bunch of nerdy lost samurai without a master, so to speak. So it would have been myself, CJ, Joe, I can't, DeFuria, excuse me, Nate Evans, Trevor Reeves, and Eli Moreno would have been the core 6. And if we can get some
No
other people to
Mason?
come up. What's up?
No Mason.
Mason would have made round 2 and 3, but I'm still not over the whole Team Evil stigma. So there is some, yeah, I see, even think about it right now. Like, I wonder if he would have made it though. So,
Oh, Team Evil.
yeah, good old Team Evil. Trying to move past it, but also hold on at the same time. It's very confusing when you play with emotions and loyalties. But
You got to hold on to it.
got to hold on. That's the whole reason why I play dodgeball. It's for fun. But probably just piss Chris Bell off if he's listening. So yeah, Headhunter's gone, but kind of come back. Thieves just picked up DeMonte.
Yeah,
Is that true?
but also probably lost Daniel. I'm guessing now that he got a baseball contract. I'm guessing he probably couldn't play dodgeball anymore. I mean, that's just an assumption.
You never know when Daniel's going to show up, but then when he does,
you never know.
That was how it
You gotta
was
prepare for it.
forever.
Yeah.
What
Who knows how strict Mexican baseball is?
I'm trying to think of his name. It just finally, Daniel Ronk. Is he done? Going back to Havoc real quick.
Heard he was gonna play, but no one knew really for sure.
Okay.
I think that's why Havoc has a 14-man roster.
That's true.
Yeah. It's a
Sounds
rotating
reasonable.
cast of people. There's another guy out of Denver that's also playing with Havoc as well. That played at Sin City. His name is
Is that Dakota?
Dakota. Yeah.
That guy's come up in the last like 3 episodes, back to back to back.
It's because I brought him up in the South one now, and I'm bringing him back up in the West.
He's just like
It's
roasting.
just
for
me
all
who
of them.
keeps bringing him up.
You're the one consistent.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So Thieves would come back. Raiders, they were looking great. I have no reason to believe that they wouldn't have come back. Arsenal, you got any intel on them?
No idea.
You're not on
well,
Arsenal anymore, right?
No, but I know. Well, Brett moved back to Kansas City,
Oh, that's right.
so
But that would have been after the season, so he would have been on this.
that's true.
He just moved back, so
Yeah, but he may
would.
or may not have committed.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a strong maybe. Gridlock. I think they're done. I think Joe
Are they
Fernandez.
always sort of there.
I think
I think they're. Yeah, I somewhat feel like they are.
they're kind of like was it Storm or Blitz, where they're, if it's a local tournament, we might see them, but anything past LA, not likely. I think we can kind of strike them. LADC, was that LA Dodgeball Club?
LA Dodgeball Club, baby. Yeah, we were coming back full force.
Nice.
Any additions? Any subtractions?
Nope. Let's see. Who do we have last year? Yeah. So no Urson this year. So to just I think there's 7 of us. There's me, Joey, Robbie, Connor. What is that for? Jamie. We added Al, but that's just for no sting. Corey. No, and Sean. Did I say Sean?
Sean.
God, what's Sean's last name?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Sean Kinney.
Okay.
He was on Southern Revolver too with Sergio. He lives out in Alabama or something, but comes out for every round. He's been working out hard too.
Got it. Roy Bots. I think they were looking better each season. I think they would come back.
Oh, Marcus Westbrook joined Arsenal. That's a good pickup.
Oh, thanks, Markel.
That's right. Well, was that just for nationals or was it for 2020?
Call it 2020.
because I think Brett was going to take over Arsenal for this season, at least because they wanted to take a back seat for this season.
Was Eric still going to play? Do we know? He's just not going to be the captain?
I think so, yeah. He just handed off captain duties to Brett.
Got it.
More time to drink White Claws.
So he's moved from Coors Light to White Claw now.
The White Claw.
So Roybots, I think, probably would have come back. Showtime, Tori's team, I imagine they would come back.
They just keep getting better and better and better because they always practice, they always play together too.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the mentality with Ronin and Smash. Obviously, we kind of merged. We took Trevor and what's his face?
Joe,
the weird guy, Joe. Yeah, Stuvo. I don't think so. I think they would have just been local, like Gridlock, unless maybe you heard somebody catch them.
No, I mean I assume the same. They'll come out to local tournaments.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Smash, Stuvo, even Headhunters, Bash My Own Team. Like if it's here, yeah, everyone's gonna show up, all hands on deck, no problem. But it's leaving the area that stuff gets kind of tricky. Grit.
I think that's going to be the thing. Like even after this, is like a lot of teams will like kind of become just like, all right, like after this, like a lot of teams might become just like local teams, and then like new travel teams are going to form, or it's going to change a little bit in that sense because even who wants to
large consolidation. I feel like a lot of these teams, 2 or 3 people from 2 or 3 different teams are going to combine to make a new team.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of players who aren't going to want to travel, or maybe don't want to do travel dodgeball anymore. So we may lose 4 or 5 teams and gain 2 or 3 sort of combinations of those teams.
For sure. Yeah, but Grit, I think did they disband, or because if they lost Hooch to Havoc, that's gonna hurt them.
On and the O'Briens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Okay, we'll assume they're still in. My apologies on. Dystopia.
Oh, that's the
Oh man.
Chris Terry's team, right?
Is it Chris Terry or? Oh man, I am blanking on names right now. It might come back to me later on after the fact. He's one that designed the really cool Ball State 8-bit jersey shirt. Man, it'll come back hopefully. And why can't I say his name? Harakiri.
Oh yeah, Harikari.
Harikari. Thank you. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I know what it is. I know the word. I just, for some reason, that sound just, I can't do it. But
and that's the other Bay Area team, right?
Yep. Okay, so let's see, Markel. Hold on, catch up here. He says,
Hooch and the O'Briens.
Yeah, I think Grid is done because David O'Brien joined Raiders and Hooch is gone.
Oh.
All right. Maybe.
Just David.
Just David, not
okay.
Chris.
But still pretty big moves there. From
David O'Brien is the one that played on Team USA at one point.
That's right.
Lefty of the team.
He was lefty.
Well, now the fun part. Okay, so we're taking 6. I mean,
I think there's 3 obvious ones, which is Crysis,
Heat, and Rise,
and Rise Bros.
Real quick, do we think Rise Bros would have gotten together and figured their stuff out relatively quickly? Do you think they would have won based on talent alone, or do you think the system that we all know Rise for would have we would have seen that on day one?
I mean, how did they do at Tyler's tournament?
They won Nosting. Yeah, they did good.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I think a lot of people like expected them to like not do certain things because they were on Rise now, and that wasn't the case. like a lot of them did like the same things or almost like more focused things than I'd ever seen them do. And like I think teams didn't. I think teams didn't take them as seriously as they should have. Like, I like, yeah. I think there's a lot of that, but yeah, they played really well. Like
Okay.
there's,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I think that would have translated even more so into 8.5 for them.
Especially over the course of 4 rounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got the sense when I talked to them that they had definitely been talking a bunch, but hadn't sort of definitively decided a play style, but they all sort of felt like they were smart enough to sort of figure it out as they were going and playing together. And I don't think Rise's play style and Rainbow's play style was so far apart that, it's not like Rise was like super freewheeling, throwing all the time, and Rain didn't, I feel
Right.
like
Yeah. A lot of their,
styles were
a lot
relatively
of like the core concepts or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Like were very similar.
It wasn't like you were adding like, Brody to Rise.
Right.
I just feel like Brody wouldn't probably fit into a Rise concept.
Program
I think
or
he
package.
could if he needed to, if he wanted to, but I don't think he'd have fun doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the only question was just, would Andy fit in really well? Or would they reined him in quick enough? But also, I think he's pretty much dangerous on his own when he's backed by, 5 other stellar players. So if we can say Crysis, Heat, Rise, take the first 3, we know that.
Yeah, I think the argument with them is what order we put them in when we get to that point. But
Right.
I think it's clear that they're definitely in the top 6. I mean, I don't think there's any way that they wouldn't be in the top 6.
So next would be Havoc.
I would say Fortune is probably the next team. I mean, they've proven over the past 2 years that they're one of the best teams in the West. And
then they have Lucas back. So
and then Lou is one of the most talented players in the country.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. He adds a lot of like, it's like sometimes like playing them like, and I think that they just were used to it. Like, cause I remember playing them round 1, like when they didn't have Lucas. And it like felt like they were missing like a spark, and that's everything that Lucas is. And he like he's an incredible player as is. And like I don't even know if I know that he wanted to even potentially be a player this year. So like he was going to like he would have been in a full playing mode. He wouldn't have been in like that coach mentality. He would have been in that player mentality, like because he wanted to. He had talked about wanting to do that. So if that had happened and he had started going, they absolutely.
That makes sense. I mean, you come from coaching Team USA to be able to go back to just play again. Probably says a lot about what he would bring to the team, and then you have that consistency over the course of 3 or 4 rounds. I can see that now.
He's one of those players. There's a bunch of them, but he's one of those players that he can single-handedly, take a team out. With kill, catch, kill, and there's some players that he is one of those players that can do it. I mean, Ketchum's obviously one of them, and there's a bunch of them, but he's definitely on that list of players that can destroy another team by himself.
I always say this too, but for a while specifically, and he did it to me and Steve, like we could not beat Fortune. Like every time we played them, like for whatever reason, like Lou would just pop off. Like just everybody's out in like 5 seconds. And we're like, I'm
dumbfounded.
So it's absolute. Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah. It's what did Alan Thomas call it a long time ago? It's like the Lou factor, the nope factor. Okay. So, and then even, I think we're getting the same backing from Markelli saying Fortune is 4th, a healthy Lucas. So at the very least, so that's the 4th slot. We can argue the seed in due time.
Mm-hmm.
But if
I think this is where the conversation starts, which is
exactly.
The 2 last teams to make this last spot, which obviously Havoc, Raiders,
Thieves,
Arsenal, Thieves.
So when we were doing the Arsenal,
we're all in that conversation.
When we were talking Arsenal, I was a little, I don't know, I wasn't filled with confidence. I'm thinking Thieves. I mean, again, adding DeMonte. Yes, they did lose Daniel, but I don't want to discount them.
What's the other player that was from Tuda that
Trey?
helped them win?
Trey.
He's done, right?
He might actually be coming back.
Because he's
I mean, travel was always
awesome.
hard for him. I know that.
Yeah, but there is a definite chance that if dodgeball was a possibility for him, that he would be playing again.
Yeah.
Because I think if we consider him on the team, I think that definitely pushes them into that total conversation of the top 6. I mean, I think they're already in the conversation, but it only helps them a little bit more.
What about Havoc? You're really upset, very motivated, Alan. Is that to the team's benefit or to its detriment? You have Hooch helping him out, maybe kind of keep him alive.
So Havoc Havoc consistently does well.
Yeah.
And
definitely does.
And I'm 99% sure we went game 7 with them at Nationals.
I've got Nationals bracket right here. Game 5 or
5th. They ended up 5th last year. So, I mean,
yeah, we would have. I actually think we would have lost them. I think we would have lost them if Brett didn't get a double catch.
It was 4-2.
Okay, so it was the sec. Oh, it was 2-2 in that like crazy thing. Yeah. So I forget at what point that happened, but that game was like, because they also always battle in playoffs really well.
Oh yeah.
They're a playoff team, and that a lot of that had to do with because Andy was there. So I don't know how that works with Alan now.
Do you think
Tim's a clutch player too.
On the team still?
Hmm?
Or was Kenny done after having his child, or would he be on the team?
Oh,
Kenny Cox, did he ever go to Havoc?
He was on Havoc at Nationals.
Oh, he was?
Huh. I don't know. Somebody brought up a good point with Thieves, though. Going back to Glenn.
Oh, yeah, Glenn's on Thieves, too.
Yeah, I just completely, for some reason, spaced Glenn. Thank you, Raquel, for bringing that up. I'm trying to pull up, like, just Havoc's bracket run for round 1.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, too, is, like, the like, a lot of these teams are all, they're all equally good teams. But it's like where and who do they play? Because a lot of them match up differently against other teams. Because throughout all of those teams, you have significantly different play styles all throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bracket in which it would line up would definitely determine a lot of things. But we can't really imagine that there's a bracket, so it's
just hypothetical. So I'm looking at round 1, Havoc. They seeded 6th. They played against Downpour 4-2, then lost 4-2 against Havoc, or I'm sorry, Crysis. Jeez, sounds very similar to what you guys just talked about. And then round 2, Havoc got to play against Arsenal. Don't have a score, but beat them. Lost to Rise. Again, how much of this do you think was this all Andy, or do you think it was a solid team effort? It's an absolute team effort. Like Havoc is like, because the thing about them too, and like I say it about like all the teams, like they all hang out together, they're all friends, they all do like they're all doing everything together too, and so like a lot of that, like they're always a good team because they were always like just always together, and so no matter what, like you could never count them out, ever. Fair.
Every time I watch Ronk, I'm amazed by how fast that kid can throw. He creates so much power from his tiny little smaller body frames. So that kid's awesome as well.
So apparently he's got massive legs. Like that's where it comes from. Just because I asked him one time, like, dude, what is it about you that makes you throw so hard? I got big legs, Steve. And then it was something similar to that. Paraphrasing a little bit. So
he's got good mechanics, and he's got a good whip motion, and when you put like that together with a dodgeball, it magically goes fast.
Yeah, but are we counting Ronk in this lineup for last year, dude?
Do we got Ronk and Hooch and Alan paired with Tim, Pat. Who else?
Emilio.
Emilio. I mean, those are solid.
That's a
yeah, core players, and then you've got the really good corners.
Gage. The possibility of Gage as well.
Yeah. For 8.5.
And then CJ from the East Coast.
That's a huge team.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They can go pretty hard. So I'm
yeah, Havoc is top 6, right?
Yeah,
it's 4, 5, or 6. So yeah, Fortune would be 4. Is that what we said?
4. Yep.
Well, they're in the. I think at this point, let's just get to our 6.
Yeah,
and then we'll work it down from that point.
And so the 6th spot would then either be Thieves or Raiders.
Thieves, Raiders.
I like to throw my team in the mix.
State your case.
Arsenal, and then Arsenal as well.
Yeah,
it's hard to say who was coming back to Arsenal, who was going to play on Arsenal.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a fault on us not being able to recon that too well, or if that's just.
I think they actually had a good run in Nationals.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have to assume that Brett would still be in LA at this point because we're talking about last season. He didn't move until,
right.
2 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, Arsenal got all the way to the quarterfinals. And they lost 4-0 to Bush.
Yeah, Sergio.
Arsenal's lineup would have been Brett,
Eric.
Yeah. Was Corey still on their team?
Marcus. Corey Rondeluz.
Yeah.
You may just throw all these teams in a random tournament generator and then do it.
There you go.
So, I don't know, like it really, genuinely, I think you have to do it by matchups because it's so I mean, outside of 3, there's outside of 3 consistent, there is a lot of mix for that tied for 5th spot. And so if there's only 6 teams in that 3, or I guess in that 4, 5, and 6 spot, there's a lot of options.
It all depends on what pool you end up in for round robin and who your matchups are, and then how you place in the bracket. What your seed turns out to be.
Because there's there's a case you can make because running down the matchups, you gotta run them down, and then I think every single one of those teams had matches up well against another one of those.
So hypothetically, Raiders team would have been Cliff. They would have added David O'Brien, Ryan Haley, and then who else is on Raiders? If we're basically we're down to 1 spot for Raiders, Arsenal.
You got Aaron Felton.
Dodgeball Club.
Oh, yeah.
Arsenal.
And Thieves.
So what are we at so far? Who do we have?
So yeah,
we're saying Crysis, Fortune, Rise, Heat, and Havoc are all in the top 5. So we have 1 spot, and we're talking about Raiders, Arsenal, Thieves. Am I missing anyone?
So I'm looking at the placing for 8.5 during nationals. So Arsenal looks like they took 9th. Then you had LA Dodgeball Club, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 slots down. You have Raiders, and then Thieves is 30th place.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Thieves added DeMonte. I think that makes a big difference to them.
And it makes a huge difference in 8.5. It makes a huge difference in 8.5 for the sanity of their team and just the way that they operate, and that's a huge pickup.
And if we're saying Trey's back, I would argue that's probably the most talented team. Whether they would win it is a different conversation. But
Yeah.
I mean, with Glenn, I mean that and it's Glenn, Xander, DeMonte, Trey.
Maybe Trey. I wouldn't. Don't count. Like, don't. That was like. Don't. Yeah. That's like a hypothetical. Maybe it'd be awesome. I'd love to see him back out there.
Tony and Allen.
And Tony and Allen. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
when was the last time you saw Trey throw an 8.5 ball?
Never. Yeah.
I mean, that's an absurdly talented team.
But I mean, like, it is also hard to, because like if you look at it, who are we putting up? Who are we putting them up against? Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean it's
Arsenal.
Put
them up against Raiders. Put them up against
Arsenal. Consistently places better, and then and usually consistently does better, especially in 8.5. I think they have better 8 point. Like, I mean, they have like 8 point. There's more like, I guess, 8.5 specialists on Arsenal, I should say. And they love 8.5. So there is a lot of that, like with how many divisions there are, with what there was, like people were not taking one division seriously as much as another. So like you got to put that into a factor as well. If you look at this and you look at the West and you see where Arsenal is, it's hard to not say.
Yeah, you make a good point about Arsenal being 8.5 team. That's what we're talking about. If this was no Sting, absolutely Thieves, I think, without question. Do want to mention that Markel is saying LADC can make a case too, because Robbie can play with Nick's leadership on the court. So I know, Nick, you kind of talked about advocating your team as well. Do you want to throw you guys into the mix as well?
Yeah, I mean, Robbie is one of the strongest throwers out there. Me and Joey on the corners, that's very
annoying.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's an annoying combo. And then Connor also on corner sometimes. It can get weird. That's how we play. It's like we do cause some upsets, and random players make random runs. The thing is, we're not consistent. So if you're looking at all these other teams, there is some consistency there. I mean, Arsenal did, since we were talking about Arsenal, they're looking at the Nationals. Oh, not Arsenal, sorry. The other teams that were in the running, like Havoc, Raiders, Thieves. We haven't even mentioned Downpour, but they placed 22nd. In the round robin, so they seeded 22nd. There's so many West teams here that ended up in the top, outside the 16th, the top teams outside of the top 16. You
look at the 8.5 standings from last year. So you have the top 4 teams. Havoc came in 5th with 12, Fortune 11, Downpour, Headhunters, Thieves all tied for 7th with 9 points. Then Raiders 6, Outsiders got 4 for 1 round. Arsenal 3, Gridlock 3, LA Dodgeball 2. So I mean, I feel like that's a better comparison over 3 rounds where they would have sort of landed in terms of points, opposed to Nationals.
Yeah, that's true.
Where you can sort of get a bad seeding, and suddenly you're playing Heat in round 1, or playing Crysis in round 1, and you're out of the tournament.
Nick, what was that?
Yeah.
What?
There's a ghost, dude.
There's an airplane that flew through your house.
Wait, hold on. What's going on? What are you talking about?
Everything's fine now.
No.
Yeah.
That's weird. So Justin, you're saying maybe not consider national standings, or not the national results, I guess, but the standings. Go back to that.
I mean, I think that's a better representation of where they were, especially considering we're talking about how they ended up in the West, not necessarily.
Oh yeah, Thieves. Yeah, Thieves. Thieves placed above. Thieves had a bad first round, and then after that, consistently were tied for 5th.
To claw their way back. So then that kind of takes.
That puts them above Thieves. That puts them above Arsenal. On top of adding DeMonte.
But you got Downpour sitting above
both of them
now.
Well, Downpour and Thieves had the same amount of points, so that's just alphabetical. And Headhunter's right there as well.
I'm gonna look at
Downpour always consistently does good too.
I think they've played together the longest out of
Kyle Sozek's team, right?
Kyle Sozek and Charlie White and
James Alston. I'm trying to see if there's any matchups that they played against each other.
Downpour versus Thieves.
Yeah.
I found it.
Thank you.
Round 2, Portland. So this is 2018.
Yeah, and you're not going to see any change up from Downpour in their lineup from what they're rocking today.
Yeah, so Tuda is going to have. Oh, that's funny. This video has Brody on Havoc. Yeah, so that's that whole same team pretty much.
So we could argue consistency would be on Downpour's favor.
Yeah, and then straight up talent-wise, Thieves has them beat.
Yeah, and if you go by like the rounds, so round 1, Thieves lost to Fortune, and Downpour lost to Havoc. So they both lost to teams that we have in our top 5. So it's not like they got upset by anybody. In round 2, Downpour, Thieves beat Headhunters and then lost to Rain Bros. Downpour beat
Downpour beat Showtime then.
Yeah. Both teams won 4-0 and then lost 4-0 to Crysis and Rain Bros.
I don't think any of those scores are true. So the results are true, but just not the scores.
Right.
For something. So you don't know.
What Charlie White sort of just saying he plays handball now. Do you think that would have been a factor if he would have played the season or?
Oh wait, that's Valhalla Charlie White. Yeah. Isn't there another Charlie White, or is that his name? I'm not. Oh gosh.
We know we're talking about the shorter guy, the Mohawk.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's rumor. So I think that would, because he's been a core member of that team for a couple of years now. So that would probably impact him if he wasn't playing that season. But are we arguing like individual?
It's not that Charlie White.
It's not that Charlie White.
I feel like we're sort of down to this idea of, is it Downpour or Thieves?
Is it Downpour
right?
or is it Thieves?
Yeah.
Find the matchups. When have they played?
Well,
what are the round robin results?
You said you found Downpour versus Tuda Ketchum?
Yeah.
And who won that one?
Going back to the idea that
I can't tell.
No.
Downpour's played 8.5 for the longer period of time, and Thieves I feel like is ascending. And
they also like 8.5.
Well, that's also different too. But I feel like Thieves is getting better every year, whereas Downpour is consistent. So I feel like I'm leaning, I guess, towards down to Thieves. But
I mean, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but consistency, there's a lot to be said about that. And if you're consistently playing with the same lineup, constantly playing 8.5, that's your bread and butter. It's tough though. Because I also agree with Markel. Like he's saying Thieves has it. Because again, you got Glenn. Oh man. But again, you're saying we're not.
Yeah, what do you say, Ketchum?
Yeah. Are you still researching that game?
Pulling up all the data. I think DeMonte just flips it. So I mean, if you had this before, adding
I agree.
adding DeMonte would completely change a lot of these situations. Because the thing is like a lot of them play recklessly, and a lot of these games that they would like getting behind is when they just play reckless, or somebody get mad and then it would just, everybody would kind of flip their hands and like whatever. And then but like DeMonte's not like that. So like I think he's a very level-headed player on that court, and he's also very consistent too.
I feel like he'd bail him out of bad
Yeah.
situations.
Oh yeah. That's what.
Monte
Yeah.
also is the kind of player that can fit into any. He can fit into any roster.
Yeah.
He's super pliable and
Yeah,
can play
100%.
anywhere on the court for them.
And he'll
I
practice.
agree.
He'll put the time in, and he'll only get better.
Yeah, I agree. I think DeMonte puts him over the top. I think it's really close, but I think DeMonte is the
Unless there's some other crazy downpour pickups we're not unaware of.
Yeah, I don't think so.
My understanding is that all the Rainbow guys that were not moving to Rise were finishing. It wasn't like they were
retiring.
Joining. Yeah, they weren't
They
joining.
weren't like trickling down to downpours. They were.
No.
There's our dad joke for the night.
There's your dad joke.
Shit.
I think they should have stayed with their name as Grip City because I think that was a cooler name.
Whatever happened to Reeve?
He's still up that tree.
He never came down. He's still in the
He never
Austin
came
bar.
down.
He's underneath the sand.
Shirtless.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of that, they, there's no way they would have picked him up. All right, so we're good with Crysis, Heat, Rise, Fortune, Havoc, and Thieves.
Congratulations.
We're confident with that.
Now comes the difficult part.
We'll
putting them in order.
We'll just go into a randomizer.
I'm staying out of this part. This is the part
I think
where
that's the order. I think that'll be the order.
We could just look at the standings and completely cop out and just say, like Nick suggested, that's the order.
Yeah. What do you got? Crysis, and then Heat, and then Rise, and then Havoc, and then Thieves.
I think I would put Fortune.
Oh wait, I missed Fortune. So yeah, Crysis, Heat, Rise, Fortune, Havoc, Thieves.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Because I'm saving all my gray hair and drama for the Nationals when we put these guys against each other. Ketchum, I know you said you're staying out of this, but I mean, what do you think?
want to play that Rise team. That sounds fun. That's like.
You gotta get like
I'm excited to see these. I'm so excited to see these teams.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like a fun 8.5 team to play against. Like that sounds like a good time.
Something I saw Rolina pop up in the Google Sheet. If you're listening live, Rolina, thanks for making this thing happen, by the way. It's been awesome to work with.
Oh, is Ro in the sheet?
Yeah, I think you just saw her face pop up with who's here? We got Anonymous Dingo, that's Justin, Anonymous Grizzly, and Anonymous Liger.
I don't know.
I don't know who I am.
There's a rabbit in here too.
That's probably me. It's my spirit animal.
I've got a roach and a quagga, anonymous quagga.
What?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's how it will all play out, like with good refs and all that.
Yeah, I mean, ideal, right? Best refs, best conditions, best balls.
Chris Bell Stadium.
I want him. Yeah, I bet he'll do like. If Chris sets his mind to something, he does it. Like, it doesn't matter how long it takes. I think Chris Bell will like just one day just be like, I have a dodgeball stadium, and he's just like, he'll be like,
it was a end of year podcast conversation, but it was like a great point. It's like the only way the dodgeball is going to go forward is if they have their own stadium that actually suits recording and playing.
Yeah. I think we need like a dungeon master and get some like Dungeon Dragon like roll for, I don't know, like who wins the rush. We got a week to figure that out. That's gonna be a nightmare, but fun. Cool. I guess we can kind of just leave it at that. And like I said, unless you guys really want to argue, like I think Markel saying Thief should be. I mean,
why should Thieves be 5? Give us a reason.
Yeah, you got
Thieves over Havoc. Is that what he's saying?
He's saying Havoc would be 6.
Yeah, because you can't push down. Like, there's no pushing down Fortune's not happening. So you'd push down Havoc. So you think that Havoc is 6 and Thieves is ahead of Havoc.
I mean, I guess you could make the argument that Havoc is 6 because it's the most changed up lineup. Like, how would they mesh together?
But it's,
I feel like
a
Alan
lot of it's the
played on
core.
Havoc before.
And he plays co-ed with them.
Yeah.
It's not really like a change. Like it's like when Pyan and I, like when we played together in co-ed, like when it eventually like happened that we've got to play together in open, like nothing changed. So it's like a lot of that, like he has that same, he's played with a lot of these players, like he's been with them for quite a while too. So I don't think there's going to be any like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of that feeling it out, like trying to, like they're just going to come in and be pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And I guess Hooch also plays with Alan, so that they're together and known.
Already is there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's always good to be able to practice together. And
it goes back to my theory of wanting to blow dodgeball up and make it all like everyone has to be on a regional team. No more super teams. You have to play. You have to make a team with people that are within 30 miles of you, or 20 miles of you, or whatever.
Sounds like Laser Quest
distances.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. We're supposed to talk about Laser Quest before all this.
What is Laser
really
Quest?
Curious, man. Yeah, what is Laser? Please inform.
What do you mean? What is Laser Quest?
You can't ask that question.
The rule of Laser Quest is you can't talk about Laser Quest.
It's a fun action-packed game.
So first of all, I mean,
live action laser tag adventure.
I'm not gonna do it. I thought about it. I thought about saying the whole thing, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's not. It's dug deep down in there. I'm gonna keep it there. So Nick and I, this is really the reason I'm in dodgeball. Is this guy right here?
You forgot this. I had to remind you this.
Yes, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I guess this happened. I was like, nope, it was Nick. So yeah, he got me into dodgeball, and then, but kind of before like I really got into dodgeball, like I was only playing at like Sky High at this point. It was a monthly tournament. That was the highest dodgeball I knew about. Life was easier then. And then
like a Sky Zone.
Sky High.
Sky High Sports,
like
baby.
Yeah.
It's like a Sky Zone.
Trampoline. Yeah.
Yep. And then like we just started like hanging out, talking, because Nick would pretty much just like sometimes let me in, pretty much every time he'd be like, all right, go jump. And then I'd be like, this guy's the best. And then we started talking, and he's like, all right, like we'll talk about laser tag. Or I think I had like a laser tag shirt on, or I think we were going to laser tag, and he's like, no way. And then come to find out, like Nick had been a part of pretty much like competitive laser tag, like from the start.
For years, for like 10 years.
And I was a part of like rebirthing it at the company, because I was working there, and I like loved it. And I was just competitive me. I was like, we can have nationals for this? Hell yeah. And so then like when Nick found out this was happening, like we played on a laser tag national team together.
That's right.
Which was a lot of fun.
Representing Mission Viejo, California.
Yeah.
And so the way they had to form these teams is there's like about 63 centers, like at its peak in North America. And in order to be on the team for the center, you had to live within a certain distance of the center. So, and they were strict about it.
Yep, because people were like moving, people were trying to like change, like people were like saying they were from here and here, because like people were really trying to make super teams.
Yeah, and so like they'd have the managers of each location check like bills and and all of that, and you had to show proof that you lived within the area. And so you had teams moving players and like putting them on water bills just to have, you know, a superstar player play at their center for their team. And it was pretty crazy.
Like false documents, because this is real.
Yeah.
Well, I did manage to get a dad joke from Austin Deeks. I actually asked him early this time. Thanks for calling me on that, Justin. But it goes, my father was born as a conjoined twin, but the doctors managed to separate them at birth. So I now have an uncle once removed. And head drop. Justin, you want to read yours? You had one pulled up too. Thanks, Austin, by the way. Not do it.
I'm good with that, Mike. Mine was just in case you didn't have one. And it wasn't good enough to make the podcast.
Fair enough. we'll save it for East Coast as a backup just in case we need it.
Exactly.
But Serge was asking about Laser Quest earlier. Yeah, I think we got that nice little segue. But cool. Well, I think that's all I have, guys. I mean, like I said, we'll kind of just leave it at that. So in case you guys missed it, Crysis, Heat, Rise, Fortune, Havoc, and Thieves will be taking on or moving from the West. We'll be recording the East recap hopefully this weekend with Billy. See how that goes. But thanks, guys, for hopping on. And for those of you guys that are in the stream, thank you so much for joining us and chiming in. It was really helpful yesterday. It's really helpful today. But I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and end the discussion there. All right, so that was the recap of the hypothetical 2020 season featuring the West Coast. And thank you so much, Andrew Ketchum, Nick Factoran, and Justin Bosch for hopping on and being willing to just kind of hack this through. Again, huge thank you. I can't say this enough to Relina for the data that she collected last year. Definitely made this way easier to go back and forth with. And also a huge thank you to Sergio and Markel who participated in the stream chat, kind of giving us some additional pointers and advice. I feel like that's really going to be the not the make or break, so to speak, but one of the elements or parts of this entire thing that's really going to help us throughout the nationals. Because as once we release the bracket, definitely want to have like some kind of contest or some way to get people's inputs, like how would you map this bracket, and then also incorporate more Typeform surveys, and then also just the back and forth banter that's going on in the group chats definitely helps us out and points out some factors or things that we might not have thought about as we're speaking. So it's been a lot of fun too. And also I do apologize for any technical difficulties from the onset rather, either earlier in the audio portion of this episode or in the visual if you were watching the stream. I am getting really greedy now playing with another monitor and video and live streaming, and I just need a better device to make that happen. But anyway, if you're still with me, thank you so much for doing so as always. Have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.